Where's my... Yeah. Horrification.
Hello.
Hello.
Iris and I are just making some lunch, so we will be there in just a second.
Ooh. Delicious.
Because it's lunch in our part of the world.
Ah.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, sir.
How are we all?
Doing good. Just making some lunch before we settle in to do God knows what horrible things to this fantasy world.
That fills me with so much confidence. Thank you so much.
Did I mention I have torches in my backpack?
I believe once or twice we may have established that.
And have excellent dark vision, so therefore those torches aren't meant for light.
Oh my word.
Oh dear.
I'm now slightly worried that Harrow is going to set fire to all of Phandalin. Shit.
Once
I'm
he
just
starts
trying to
asking about the format of their government and stuff like that, he'll be like, sounds like oppression. I must burn it to the ground.
There's a better way to do all of this. Let's just start again.
Start again. All right, guys, we're going to finish making lunch, and then we will be ready to roll.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time. How's everyone else?
Yeah, doing good, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It's been a weird old week. So yeah, it's just like lots of not strange things, but just like unusual things and things that I wasn't expected to happen. I was expecting it to be fairly standard, dull, and then it wasn't entirely. So, but it's all good. It's all good.
Well, that's good to hear. So not like life-shatteringly bad, interesting. Just kind of.
Oh no,
interesting.
nothing like that. Just things, you know, like occasionally sort of things happen that kind of divert the whole course of what you thought was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
One
that.
of those weeks. So yeah, it was fine.
But it kind of started off with, for you, it was a little bit like, oh, am I gonna be back in work or am I not? Was kind of your big question.
Well, I
And
kind of assumed I assumed I was. That was the thing. It wasn't even sort of this. You know, I didn't think there was going to be any uncertainty around it. And then they sent out an email to all the booksellers because it's Waterstones that I work for, and
okay.
they sent an email out to all the booksellers saying, obviously we can't afford to have everyone come back at once because there's just aren't going to be spending enough money up front to do that. So they said so HR have graded you all based on these various different criteria. And at that point, I still thought, yeah, fuck it, I'm a good worker. I know what I'm doing. I've been there 15 years. They're, you know, why wouldn't they want me back? And then because I had a couple of weeks sick leave last year for a bad back, that was one of the things that got taken into account. So then I got a phone call from the area manager on Thursday, I think it was, saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, we don't have a position for you at this time." So it's fine. I'm getting paid 80% to sit on my arse for 2 weeks.
Well, there we go. And it's kind of weird with big companies like Waterstone because HR is it's all about that. It's big data processing, which
Yeah.
is it's a shame because you'd want it to be the call of your manager to say, "Oh, I want these people in," and then it would probably be different. But
And to be fair, when the area manager told me that I wasn't coming back straight away, and I said to her that I was quite disappointed, and sort of she explained why. She said, "Fair enough, I get that." And then the next day, the HR manager phoned me and was like,
okay,
I hear you were sort of a bit disappointed. I just wanted to go through the criteria, just explain to you why, exactly what you were saying. It's not, it's based on data. It's not based on individual merits or anything like that. So that, to be honest, Waterstones aren't always great with their HR, but I thought that was sort of a nice touch. Kind of like,
yeah, well, that's exactly
know,
what I was thinking when you said that. I was thinking those exact words, a nice touch
yeah.
to do that.
So yeah, and so yeah, I just now get to sit on my backside for another few weeks and get paid most of my wage to not do anything.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
What about you? Anything exciting?
Um, hang on, let me just load up. No, nothing. It's more the oh no, I've become really good at drinking. Yeah, I've been working this week I've been working on my drinking skills.
I'm
I've
so
been
proud of you.
yeah, been like oh come on, you need to. I mean, years ago I used to be a good drinker. I could have been a real contender, a champ, but gave it all up. And now it's like a comeback. It's like I'm like da 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 da
Are you now
da.
the Rocky Balboa of alcohol?
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Fantastic. Whiskey Balboa. That's what we'll call you. Or whiskey on the Rocky Balboa.
Well, that's very
It,
apt because whiskey
it
is the
needs a bit of
the
work.
drink of choice. So
Yeah. I when lockdown started, I in a month ended up spending so much money on red wine. Like I think I got through 2 bottles of Jack Daniels in first month of lockdown. I was just like, what to do? So I might as well just.
it's that's the thing. It's like but if you were just looking at it yourself and you could look at it and you go, oh wow, that's really shocking. But if you look around and you see like on bin day, everybody's bins out front. Everyone's got these big piles of bottles of wine and beer and everything. So you're like, oh, okay, it's
Yeah,
I'm
that's fine.
I'm not even in some of these people's league.
Wait, are we talking about booze now?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yay!
That's what I thought.
Let's get the vodka.
Yeah, I'm coming back on the wagon. I'm doing it.
But the wagon's missing a few wheels, to be honest. The
So,
road is a bit bumpy. I might fall off again. These are crazy times.
The wagon is on a one-way path to rehab. How are you, Raymond? You all right? Good, good. Please. That's
A weekend
okay.
warrior of booze. Oh, yeah.
What's your drink of choice? Beer. Yeah.
I hear that.
So it's business as usual for you.
theoretically, I wasn't supposed to be let go. We were classified as essential, and we don't much like you, Raymond. We didn't have like a front facing. We didn't deal with like customers. Our customers were like international and out of state and stuff like that. But our customers are all customer facing, so it's like, oh, we didn't plan this out well. Our supply line is screwed.
Yeah, that's the thing, I think, isn't it, for a lot of places, even where one element of the chain is still up and running, if you have other links sort of either side that aren't, for whatever reason, the whole system falls apart. Damn the system. Right. So the important question really is, what are Morpheus and Iris having for lunch?
Yeah.
I made
I need to
a
know.
smoked mac and cheese.
Say that again, sorry.
I made a chili mac and cheese.
Oh,
It's the
very nice.
fancy stuff.
And did you contribute in any way, Morpheus, or are you just eating?
I was moral support.
Moral support, the most important aspect of any cooking endeavor.
Yep, right up there with supervising.
He gives some pretty good kitchen dance parties, so the moral stays high.
Yeah, absolute kitchen booty shaker.
That is an image I didn't know I needed on a Saturday evening in the cold, wet, rainy north of England.
Whatever keeps you warm, though, right?
Well, that's it. I won't need an extra blanket tonight, put it like that. I think I should just stop talking now.
You're
Which-
fine.
Which for a DM is going to be an interesting endeavor, but right. Is everyone ready to begin?
I think I'm as ready as I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Nice one. Steve, all good?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All good.
Nobody's really worried about Brill. Brill's fine.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you said nobody's worried about Brill rather than nobody
Oh
cares
my
about
God.
Brill. Because
Just
that would have
open
been...
up
We care about Brill. We just don't worry about Brill.
He's-
Did Brill just fall down? Don't worry, he's fine.
We stand with Brill.
I'm literally sitting here looking at his 3 hit points. Like, yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he'll be okay.
Yeah, he's a fighter. I have
You
every
and
faith in him.
Serenity both.
So, just a quick summary. I realised that I didn't type up a summary last week, just with various things that were going on. So, obviously, the session last time was set in and around Cragmaw Hideout, which was the cave network that you believed Gundren Rockseeker and Sildar Hallwinter had been taken to. And during your exploration and attempts to climb chimneys, which we should probably never talk about ever again.
Ever again.
Ever again. Never in any time in the future of playing D&D, if there's ever a wall, you should all actively avoid trying to climb it. That would be my advice to you.
Walls, my old nemesis.
I just can't wait till the first time we get somewhere with the store and you all start stocking up on grappling hooks. During the course of investigation through this cave network, you did find Sildar Hallwinter, who was the military escort who'd been hired by Gundren to accompany on his journey. But Gundren Rockseeker himself was nowhere to be seen. Just as a reminder, Gundren was one of 3 brothers who believed he had located the entrance to the Wave Echo Cave which is a cave sort of mentioned in lore and history. And actually, that reminds me, I have created a handout which you should all be able to access called lore. So you should be able to see that in your journals. You guys can't edit it. Be edited by me. You can all see it. So any important bits of information as you acquire them, I will add in there. The cave network was run by a bugbear called Clark, who you encountered towards the end of your time in the caves, who managed to escape. But Clark, Sildar had overheard during his captivity that Clark had had word from the Black Spider that Gundren Rockseeker was to be taken to this Black Spider, but Sildar didn't know who or what the Black Spider is. Sildar also overheard during conversations that, piecing together information, believed that Gundren was taken somewhere called Cragmaw Castle. So the Cragmaw kind of theme that's running through here, the Cragmaws is the name of the tribe of goblins, which was certainly this branch of the tribe, if you like, based in the cave network, was run by Clark. And that is as much as you know. Sildar did say that he would pay you as a party 50 gold pieces. You would accompany him the rest of the way to Fandolin, which, given that you're heading there anyway, seems like a pretty sweet deal. And the one more to say. Yes, and then you also, in Clark's cave, you found some treasure, various bits of treasure, which is on the loot handout. And you also found a large sort of chest trunk with a very distinctive logo on the front. And it was the logo of, let me just find the exact description. It was sort of a lion rampant, a blue lion rampant. And you, if I remember, you decided to take that crate back.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, okay. So, with that, you left the cave network, and the single goblin that you had tied up outside had, at this point, been pretty brutally devoured by the three wolves, which Serenity really wanted to release. So there's some bits of flesh left hanging off the bones, but there's not much. Those wolves were pretty damn. For the sake of the story, we will say that you safely navigate your way back to the cart. You successfully remember where the pit trap was, you remember where the snare trap was, and you make it back to the cart safe. Oxen and cart, if I remember, were round about here, weren't they? You sort of them up. So, what would you like to do?
Are they still there?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
the cart is there.
Woo!
Having a quick look at the supplies, it looks like everything's there. It seems that probably any of the goblins in the area ambushing were kind of taken up by sort of your foray into the cave network. So everything is as it was.
Neat. So Serenity will help, like motion for Sildar to get on the cart, since he probably is not keen on walking, since he's still probably.
Yes, he will be pretty weak. Yes. So okay, that's fine.
So I suppose we should put Brill and Serenity into the cart as well, because they're neither in pretty good shape.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Don't you have like
It's fine.
1 hit point?
You're on 1 hit point, Serenity.
Okay.
If we have a
There we go.
I was gonna say if we have a goblin cough in your direction, you're dead.
Serenity does that thing that Serenity is quickly becoming known for, of not actually saying anything, just kind of stomping off in the direction that everyone else wants her to go, so that she can just not argue the
You
point.
can't tell her what to do, but she's gonna do the right thing.
She's doing it because she wants to, not because you've all just pointed out how ridiculous it would be otherwise.
That sounds familiar.
This feels like every day for me. Well, they say you
always
bring
say-
something of yourself to your character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make sure that your character is some sort of extension of your own personality.
You can relate to that character.
Right, so we've got Harrow and Ochi out front, Brill, Sildar, and Serenity in the cart. That is absolutely fine. I will just set Sirenscape off if anyone wants to some sound effects in the background on their app. Just in a second. Okay, so
We are the victorious.
what's the plan? Where do you want to head? Let me actually show you where you are on the map. Okay, so you are currently round about here. I should just fix that. You are about, well, you've come back to the trail, so you're now about there, and you are heading to Fandully. If you want to head to Fandully. That was where Gundren had hired you to take the supplies, and that's also where Sildar Hallwinter was heading, and he's asked if you accompany.
Well, I think that we should head straight to Fandalin.
Yeah, I think given our situation and our current state, getting to Fantalin's the best plan.
Cool. So, what you can do is at the moment, given how long you were in the caves for, and I believe you took a short rest in the caves just after the wolves did.
Yes, we did.
Yes. So we'll say it's probably about midday now. You reckon you can get to Fandolin by nightfall? So on the journey, you could all quite easily take a short rest if you wanted to.
Yay! I love short rests.
I think you should all still have at least 1 hit dice. So if anyone that wants to take a short rest is more than welcome to do so. So on the journey, does anyone want to do anything particular? Okay, let's have a look because I've never actually myself here. 2 seconds. So if you go into your character sheet and then so the middle column of your character sheet, just beneath your hit points total, there is there's a couple of large boxes and then 2 smaller boxes just above your weapons or just above your attacks. If you click where it says hit dice, Okay, so you regain 9 hit points. That's fine. So it will just take you up to your maximum hit points. It won't take you over. So yeah, that's fine. Always better to have too many than not enough, I say. Nice one there from Harrow.
Not bad for only missing 2 hit points.
Those are actually all pretty awesome rolls for hit dice. Okay, so on the journey, anything in particular that?
Yeah, Brill's gonna just hide in the cart because he can't get any health back, so he's just cowering.
We throw a blanket over him.
You throw a blanket over him like a slightly freaked out puppy.
Guys,
Yeah, keep him safe.
Okay, and just in case, are you actively trying to sort of hide away, Brill?
Yes.
Okay, in which case, can you just roll me a stealth check, please? And that will be with advantage. Wow.
Bomb.
That would be with advantage because of the blanket. So, yeah, Brill, you're sure he is in the cart, but unless you're looking right at him, he has somehow managed to entirely blend in with his surroundings. The fact that he's covered by a blanket helps, but even the blanket doesn't look as lumpy as it should with a tiefling underneath.
We're going to unload him wherever we're going, thinking he's a potato sack or something, and then be like, did we leave Brill behind?
I mean, there is actually that danger with a rule like that.
We stopped for a pee break and we think we lost him.
You may never see Brill again with such a good stealth check. Okay, so we've got Brill hiding away, cowering under a blanket. Anyone else? Anything that anyone wants to do? Any rituals they want to carry out? Any worship? Anything like that on their way?
Well, I was gonna use my last cure wounds on Brill, but I can't find him now.
Well, roll an investigation check for me. Oh, that was so close to. If that had been a crit, you would possibly have been able to find him. But yeah, no, even with your exceptional eyesight, knowing that, I mean, and the thing is as well, this isn't a huge cart. It's not like some sort of, 25-foot long, anything like that. It's a small cart, and somehow, Brill is just nowhere to be seen.
So at what point in this adventure on this road trip does Serenity go, I can't find Brill?
Did you fall out?
I imagine, Serenity, you would probably want to try and heal Brill fairly quickly on the journey, wouldn't you? Sort of soon after departing.
Yeah, like as they settled in, but then he disappeared.
So, yeah, I let's say that you managed to get about there before Brill is just nowhere to be seen, nowhere at all. Okay, anyone else want to do anything?
I think I'm just going to maintain false life throughout the trip since I can cast it at will. Just keep me on big hit points if I can.
Yeah, that's fine. I will trust you to keep remembering to do that because I probably won't. But yeah, not good to know. Ochi, anything that you want to do on the journey, or are you just sort of taking in your surroundings? Okay, if you could roll a perception check for me, please. Wow.
Nice.
Okay. So, nobody's sneaking up on you at the moment that you know of, and but yeah, it's a lovely day on this journey. It's the sort of journey that if the weather had taken a turn for the worse, it would be a pretty miserable journey. But actually, today the sun is shining, the birds are singing, bees are trying to have sex with them, as is my understanding, and it's. And it's just a very few clouds in the sky, but no monsters that you can see, no creatures, no sort of bandits or anything like that. About sort of mid-afternoon, you get to a crossroads, and you already know which direction you need to be heading in. This isn't sort of something you need to kind of work out. You Gundren was very clear. So you take a right, heading onto the trail to Fandulin. And at this point, Sildar, who's been sort of dozing fitfully, obviously he didn't get much sleep, being tied up and taunted by goblins. He kind of shudders himself awake and looks round. It does that thing, where you know that you have drool on your chin, but you kind of start slapping your chin just to kind of get it off. You know it's there somewhere. And he looks around and he says, have we reached Fandulin yet?
We're getting closer. We just hit the intersection.
Right, okay, well that's good to know.
Has anybody seen Brill?
Oh, Brill, which one's that? Is that the funny little red chap?
I can't remember. I think so. I haven't seen him in for so long.
And Sildar looks round and kind of looks straight at the blanket that Brill is underneath and goes, I don't know. Are you sure he's come along with us? We didn't leave him back in the cave, did we?
Well, if he did fall out, we should at least take comfort knowing the wolves will not eat him.
Oh, well, that's what I like. I like a nice, cheery companion. Always looking for the positive in every situation. That's wonderful. That's very impressive. I might as well tell you while we're on the road that I'm a member of a group called the Lord's Alliance, and we're sort of like, what's the best way to describe the Lord's Alliance? We're sort of a group of individuals, sort of usually employed by the various city-states to kind of help keep things on an even keel. We're also known as the Council of Lords. Have any of you heard of us? And at this point, anyone that wants to can make a history check to see if you have heard of the Lord's Alliance. Harrow has not. Okay.
That's a sign of consistent upbringing.
Yes. Okay, so none of you have heard of it, but essentially Sildar explains to you that they're not sort of a nation as such, but a partnership of the rulers of various towns and cities across the north who have pledged peace with one another. They promise to share information and effort against sort of common threats, such as if there were a horde of orcs or pirates, sort of a loose, sort of like confederation of the various sort of city-states. So places like Neverwinter would have a representative. Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, a few more city-states like that. It's not entirely sort of like Starfleet Federation type, all humanity working together. There are times when cities will look out for their own interests, but generally, if there's some sort of large overbearing concern or threat to the way things are done, then the Lord's Alliance will step in and coordinate a response, if you like.
So you're telling me you're the stewards of civilization?
I mean, I'm not one for lofty titles myself, but that sounds about right. Aye, I would say so. Sometimes, it's not all grand quests. There are times when we sort of we need to take care of smaller issues. We do sometimes help with smaller issues, which is actually why I was heading to Fandolin, as well as accompanying Gundren. He had asked me to accompany him, and I was heading in this direction anyway. But I'm trying to find one of my colleagues. His name's Jarno Albrecht, and he came down to Fandolin a couple of months ago, and not heard anything from him since. So I'm hoping to be able to find.
What was his name?
His name is Jarno Albrecht. I shall type it in chat. Jarno Albrecht. So yes, that's kind of, I appreciate the effort you've made in taking care of me. So feel fair is fair, and information can be shared.
Well, we appreciate it.
Well, you did me a solid favor, and that can always be repaid.
And it can always be appreciated.
I
So
like
that gives
you,
like a
Lassie.
solemn nod.
I like all of you, apart from the one that I can't see. I don't know where he is.
He's very likable, even though you can't see him. And I hope he didn't fall off.
Well, I'll have to take your word for it, Lassie. So, the rest of the journey passes uneventfully. It is the Lord's Alliance. Yeah, no,
I
that's
also
fine.
heard lions.
So, yes, if a combination of my accent and/or my internet connection make anything indecipherable, please do just speak up, okay? Just mention it. I won't be offended. I won't make you roll everything at disadvantage for the rest of the night. Yeah.
You should hear mine.
I just blamed it on my 4, so. Oh yeah, I've heard about the lions.
Those lordly lions. Everyone knows about those, don't they?
Exactly.
Right. So, if no one else has anything else they want to do on the journey, we will go for it. Yeah. It does. Yes.
I think that's where I got confused too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of lions so far. But yeah, no, that has a blue lion logo. Yeah. So we will jump forward a bit in time, and we will get to probably about an hour before. Let's say about an hour before nightfall. So the sun is starting to sink, and you come in from north side. Okay. A rutted track emerges from a woodland hillside, and you catch your first glimpse of Fandulin. The town consists of 40 or 50 simple log buildings, some built on old fieldstone foundations. More old ruins, crumbling stone walls covered in ivy and briars, surround the newer houses and shops, showing how this must have been a much larger town in centuries past. Most of the newer buildings are set on the sides of the cart track, which widens into a muddy main street of sorts as it climbs towards a ruined manor house on a hillside at the east of the town. As you approach, you see children playing on the town green and townsfolk tending to chores or running errands at shops. Many people look up as you approach, but all return to their business as you go by. Serenity and Brill, could you please make an intelligence check? Eight.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fine. Okay, no problem. So, Sildar, good to know. Sildar, by this point, has sort of relaxed. He's looking a bit more sort of a bit brighter, a bit more up, a bit more capable. He seems somewhat reinvigorated, and he says, "My friends, let us secure lodgings. I'm told that the local inn is very quaint." So, at the moment, we will say that the cart is here, and Sildar has suggested finding the inn. You do notice, I won't make you roll for it because it's very obvious. You do notice this first building on your left as you're coming in, this red building on the map, has a sign outside saying Barthen's Provisions.
Oh, that's where we're dropping this card off.
Sounds perfect. Do you think they're open at this hour? We could drop the card off, be done with that, and then find lodgings as suggested.
Serenity's gonna try and see if anyone's there, though.
Okay, I mean the door is open. The inside seems to be. It looks like there's an elderly gentleman is starting to light some lamps that are in there. So yeah, you're fairly confident that it's still open for the thing so far.
Okay, so Serenity will give a little rap on the open door as she steps in, and be like, "Hello."
Follow suit so she's not alone.
Okay, awesome. So inside you see a lean, tall human male. He looks to be about 50 years of age. He is balding, and he has a sort of quite what you would describe as a friendly demeanor. I would say. Hello, can I help you?
Yes, we are actually making a delivery.
Oh, you must be Gundren's friends. He told me he was going to send some people after him. Where is Gundren? He's not turned up in the village yet.
No, we are actually worried that he's gotten into a bit of trouble. But we wanted to get these dropped off before we go after him.
Oh, trouble, you say? What sort of trouble?
Serenity looks at the others, kind of like, what do I tell?
The usual. not the red brands.
The red brands? Question mark.
That's the usual around here. If there are any problems, it's usually down to the red brands.
No, they seem to have him and his traveling companion, who we've managed to rescue, ran afoul of goblins and such.
Oh, goblins. Oh, yes, the other problem. Oh, well, at least you made it here, although I'm sorry to hear about Gundren. I really like him. He's such a friendly chap. I believe his brothers are camped somewhere outside of town, actually.
Do you know his name?
Who's that? His brothers?
Yes.
Yes, his brothers are called Nundro and Tharden.
And what's your name?
I'm so sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am Elmer Barthin. I am the owner and proprietor of Barthin's Provisions, here for all your provisioning needs. And with that, he gives a sort of little kind of like bow, and you can tell that
Serenity curtsies back, even though like she has no skirt, but like she curtsies back.
Oh, it's not often we get to observe niceties here. Oh, bless you, dear. So, do you have my supplies then?
Yes, they are in the cart. Would you like us to help you bring them in?
Oh no, that's okay. I have a couple of helpers, and he shouts, and Thistle. And these two sort of like gangly young teenage boys come out from the back room. You know, the kind that are sort of, it looks like they've not quite grown into their bodies yet. So they seem to be composed entirely of elbows and knees. And they kind of sort of come scurrying out. And Elmer says, if you don't mind, I'll just come out and just check that everything's there as it should be. And they all step out of the shop. And the first thing they see is on the side of the cart the word plague. And if I remember, Brill drew some infernal symbols.
Yes.
Like a little slide.
I will say, where Brill is hiding, he's actually moved from under the blanket and he's clinging underneath one of the oxen.
Okay, can you please make a animal handling check for me then? If you're actually in close physical proximity to 11. Okay, so the oxen are kind of like stamping a bit, and you know they're not too happy to have someone clinging onto their underbelly. But okay, so that's where Braille is at the moment. So Barthen looks at the cart and says, "Plague."
And she's like,
we wrote that there because we found like the goblins had attacked in the middle of the road, and so we went to go rescue Sildar. We were hoping to find Gundren as well, but we didn't want anyone to take the cart, and so we tried to make it look as unappealing as possible, but we promised we touched none of the goods.
Make a persuasion check for me, please. So Barthen looks at you and looks back at the cart. This big word plague painted on the side in blood, because it was done in horse blood, if I remember.
It was.
Yes, and then looks back at you and looks back at the cart and says, well, I can't use this cart for any deliveries while it looks like this. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to take some of your wage to cover the cost of repainting the cart.
Well, that's more than fair.
That's fair.
So, How many of you are there?
3.
5.
Don't forget about me.
Does Brill
Apparently,
actually say
Brill
that?
abandoned us.
Yeah, Brill goes, don't forget about me, and you just hear a wet thud as he drops himself down from underneath the ox.
Ah! At which point Barthen jumps about 3 feet in the air and looks rather shocked and surprised. The last thing he was expecting was to see, essentially from his angle, from where he stood, it looks like possibly one of the orcs have just given birth
To a devil?
to a tiefling, a fully clothed, fully grown tiefling. Right, okay, so that's what, 4 of you.
I was including Sildar in my count. Sorry, yeah. There's 4 of us in our little traveling.
Right, yeah. And Sildar says, "Oh, I wouldn't dream of. I'm just a passenger in this particular journey." So Barthen says, "Right, so that was 10 gold pieces each, was what was agreed. Less 2 gold pieces for my time and having to repaint the cart. So that's 38 gold pieces in total."
I'll pay the total due.
Now,
So the rest of you can take 10, I'll take 8.
oh well,
Okay.
wow, that's very very generous of him, isn't it? You want to keep him around? Right, okay. So, and he has a quick look over the cart, checks everything is there, is happy with that, and gets the young clerks to help start shifting stuff from the cart into the shop.
The Blue Lion crate's still in there, correct?
The Blue Lion crate is there, and that he when he spots that, the young helpers don't even touch that. He looks at it and says, "Oh, you've got something from Lion Shield. Oh, they'll be happy with that."
Lion's Shield?
Question mark?
So yeah, Lion Shield Costa. It's kind of like almost like our sister store, if you like. We do the provisions, they do the heavy stuff. They do weapons and armory and things like that. In fact, it's just down there. And he points down further along the track at this building here. And now that he's drawn your attention to it, you can actually see hanging on the sign outside the building is that same blue lion logo. If you're going in there, you want to speak to Lenine. She's the one that runs the place. Lenine, I've just put that in the chat. She'll be grateful that you've got some of her stuff. Was that where the goblins were?
Yeah, they had squirreled it away into one of their caves before we cleared it out.
There's been so many troubles on that trail in the last couple of months. It's getting really difficult to get supplies down from Neverwinter. Still, we have some stuff. We have ours now. Don't suppose I can persuade you to purchase anything while we're here, can I?
You don't happen to have grappling hooks, do you?
Maybe a climbing kit.
Grappling hooks. Let me see. Come in. So it kind of ushers you back into the shop. Let me have a look. And at this, he starts going through various boxes that are on the shelves. The whole shop, when you go in, is just wooden shelves, 3 walls, with one gap door that leads into the back sort of storage area. And on these wooden shelves are just wooden boxes, and sticking out of them seems to be all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And he goes over to one box which is marked climbing supplies, and he lifts it down off the shelf and kind of blows dust off the lid of the box, and I don't think we've had much demand for the climbing stuff recently. And he opens it up and goes, there we are, and pulls out a grappling hook. Yeah, finest materials this is made from. It's 2 gold pieces.
2 gold for a hook? It better be made out of some good material.
My friend, don't insult me. Come on. Yeah, of course it is. Look, it's brilliant. And it looks, to be fair, it does look like it's fairly well put together. Looks like the rope that it's attached to seems to be fairly strong. It's not frayed, anything like that. So it does look like a reasonable grapple.
So it includes rope and grappling hook?
Oh, yes. Not much point just having the hook on its own, is there?
All right, fine, 2 gold.
I'm sorry, what was that? You want to buy torches?
Oh, I see how you are. You know, you're going to regret that. I'm going to need these torches at some point in time, and you're going to turn to me and go, Harrow, we need torches. I'm like, traded them away, man. Traded them away. Where's Brill? Exactly. You need them. Mine are more for recreational purposes.
And as soon as you say recreational and torches in the same sentence, Barton kind of takes a step back, and you see a bit of a panicked look in his eyes.
Oh, don't mind my brother. He's just an idiot.
Not like for here, but for bad guys like goblins.
Harold, stop.
All right.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else I can get for you?
If I could get some extra provisions would be great.
Oh, yeah. How many days worth would you want?
Uh, 20?
20 days. Yeah, I can do that, no problem. So that would be, let me just work this out. 10 gold pieces, please. So you now have 20 days rations, and
Yeah. And I'm just taking out the gold pieces that we're paying for this stuff out of the party pot because I'm just considering, for now, either we all have it and we pool it, or Serenity's holding it, or something.
you can talk that out amongst yourselves just now if you want.
I have no problem with a company accountant.
Yeah, Brill's
Are
coughing.
you alright, Steve?
Did you ride
Brill's
that
not feeling-
bull all the way here?
Brill's not feeling very well. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. I'm okay with... Yeah, let's do that. That's fine.
Do you have any tea?
Tea?
Maybe we'll just get that at the end.
Yes, I think that would make more sense, really. When rations I can do, you might find a little thing of tea leaves in there. It's been so long since I put those kits together, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I don't sell tea on its own, right? But yeah, try it this down here. Be able to do you some tea, no problem.
We will stop there right after dropping this box off. Will you boys help me?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of something else there. Yeah, Absolutely, yeah. Tell you what, you roll the carts down to Line Shield Costa. The boys will help you unload the trunk, and then they'll bring the cart back up for me. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right, excellent. Maybe someone just stand aside of that big word that says plague on the side. Don't want to be causing panic in the village or anything. You know what I mean?
We'll throw a blanket over it.
Ah, that's a good idea. I can sell you a blanket if you want.
No, that's all right. We had one. We apparently just were using it for a magic trick, Brill.
Ah, suit yourself. Okay, so you are wheeling the cart a bit further down then, down to Lion Shield Coster, which is so hanging above the front door of this modest post is a sign shaped like a wooden shield, blue light. Has everyone come with the cart, or is anyone staying up at Barton's?
Yeah, I'll tag along.
Brill will follow back behind a little bit because he wants to just have a browse through Barton's provisions before he joins up.
Okay, so when you're looking through, are you looking through as a customer, or like are you trying to see if there's anything to steal, or are you just
Just
general
looking
browse?
looking through as a customer.
Okay, well, if you need anything, sir, you just give me a shout, and we'll see what we can do.
Don't you worry, we'll do Elmer. Thanks.
So let's move to Line Shield. So yes, what would you're outside the building at the
I suppose we should have these teenagers unload the crate and go rap on the door. Serenity, you want to take point on this? You do seem the most hospitable.
Yeah, well, the bar's not that high. Let's go.
I keep the bar low intentionally.
I appreciate you.
So you go inside, yeah?
Yeah, she'll rap on the door and like walk inside again.
No problem. So you go in, and again, this building is slightly larger than Barthen's, from what you can see, and just stood behind the counter in there is a tall woman. Let me just find my description of her. Here we go. So a tall half-elf woman, looks to be about 35 years old, and has quite a stern face. She has raven black hair, which is pulled back away from her face, and she is dressed in what seem to be quite fine clothes, especially for a merchant, and especially for a merchant in a small mining outpost like Fandolin. And she looks up as you come in and say, "Hello, can I help you?"
Yes. Are you Anine?
I am Linning. That is correct. My name is Linning Greywind. And I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
My name is Serenity. And I think that we found one of your boxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Elmer sent us down here.
Oh, well, let me see. and she comes out from behind the counter, comes out to the cart. That is one of my crates, yes. And she kind of just brought a crowbar with her. And you get a feeling that she's probably never far from this crowbar anyway. And she works the top off the box and looks inside, and something that you don't imagine happens very often is that her face actually breaks into a bit of a smile. Oh, well, this is good news. This is from my last shipment, which never made it, and I just assumed it was. I just assumed it was lost. Where did you find it?
A cave full of goblins, actually.
Oh no, not the goblins. Between the goblins and the red brands, we're having such a difficult time in Randall just now. Please let me reward you. And she sort of walks briskly back into the building. Doesn't run. You get the feeling that she would never be seen dead running. But she walks very briskly, and she reaches down behind the counter and puts 50 gold pieces on the counter and says, "Please, please take this. I'm ever so grateful that you found this these supplies."
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Was there anything else there as well, or was this it? I've had a few supplies go missing recently, and I obviously this is wonderful. Please don't think I'm grateful. I'm just wondering if there were any more that you noticed.
Well, this is the only one that we noticed in that cave, but we are going to go looking for our dwarven friend, and we can keep an eye out for more of these if you'd like.
Oh, that would be really appreciated. It's getting harder and harder to do business. But anything like that would be so helpful. Thank you. Can I encourage you to purchase anything while you're here? And you look up at the shelves for the first time, and as Barthen explained to you earlier, where he tends to deal with the more general provision side of things, the Line Shield Coster is where it looks like people can buy weaponry, some tools, the ones that Elmer probably doesn't have any interest in stocking, and also some armor as well. If there's anything you'd like to purchase, please have a look. We might even be able to do a special price, given how help.
We would love to have a look. I think we're all pretty tired though. May we come by tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely, yes, of course. I'm so sorry. I wasn't even thinking. I'm just so giddy with excitement.
Oh no,
Yes,
I appreciate you.
by all means, come back tomorrow. Yes, I'll be here, and yes, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, thank you so much.
So, what are your plans for the evening then?
I think we're headed to the inn.
Drinks and a soft bed would be nice.
Oh well, you'll certainly get the drinks. I can't guarantee a soft bed. I don't think. I don't think that Tolbin is that discerning with his rooms. But I mean, you can see the inn. It's right across the path there, and she points out the door to the building directly opposite, which is the Stone Hilton. And now that she's pointed it out, you can see people coming and going, sort of raucous laughter coming from inside. Oh no, sorry, I just pointed out the wrong building. I'm so sorry. Is that building blue one a bit further up? My apologies.
Brill, Ochi, either of you have a powerful need?
Yes, I do. Yes, I definitely do.
Okay, go on.
I need to sleep.
All right. Well, we're going to go put our friend and ourselves to bed. But we will see you tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. Please do come back. I look so forward to it. And this is sort of you imagine she's very rarely this animated. So it seems that returning these supplies to her has been very good news for her, indeed.
Serenity is pleased to have made this person's day. She takes off towards the inn.
With sort of a bit of a skip in her step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
hop and a skip.
Hop and a skip. Wonderful. Okay. So heading up to the inn.
Yeah.
Let me just. Okay. So in the centre of town stands a large, newly built roadhouse of fieldstone, rough-hewn timbers. The common room is filled with locals who all seem to be nursing mugs of ale or cider, and as you step in, they all kind of eye you with curiosity, and most of them quickly go back to their drinks. Behind the bar stood a short, friendly-looking young human male, and he sees you come in, and he looks up and says, "Ah, welcome, welcome. What can I do for you?"
Oh, we were hoping to get some rooms, maybe some drinks, and a little.
Rooms I can do, drinks I can do, and food I can do. That is not a problem at all. Have you been journeying along? Sorry?
A full service inn.
A full service inn. Well, the thing is, once you get to Findulin, if you've not got anywhere else to go, I might as well take your money here. And you get the feeling that that's kind of a joke that he's made to every passing person that's come through this way for sort of the
Brandy
last
still laughs.
year.
It's the funniest shit she's ever heard.
He seems like a really affable, nice, cheery person who really enjoys what he does. Okay, so drinks. Let's start with drinks. What can I get you?
If you've got a dark ale, I'll have that. If not, whatever you have on tap.
Oh yes, I can do you a gallon of ale if you like. Or would you just prefer a mug for now?
Gallon.
Just
A
A
gallon
gallon
is
is
fine.
fine.
but not just for me.
We don't. Oh, hang on, the voice has gone there. we. Hang on, this is okay. We don't judge here. That's fine. You can have, if you want a gallon, you can have a gallon.
But not just for me.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so we got a gallon for this fine gentleman. Anyone else for anything else? What about you, sir? And he turns to Ochi and sort of looks you dead in the eye. A tea, wow. Yeah, no, I'm sure I can find some in the kitchen somewhere. It's not something we get asked for a great deal, to be perfectly honest with you. But okay, no problem. One tea coming up. What about you, my friend? And he turns and looks at Brill.
Oh, pal. Can I get a mug of weak ale? Can I get what sort of meals do you do?
I mean, it's nothing extravagant, but it's good, hearty food. I think we've got some stew that my wife made yesterday. That should still be good.
Sounds great. And also, I mean, we're gonna get rooms soon, but put me down for a room now.
A room? Yeah, no, that's not a problem at all. So a room will be 5 silver pieces, just so you know. And is that a room each, or is anyone sharing?
Well, yeah,
And Sildar, who's coming sort of with you, says, "If you don't mind, I will take a room by myself."
oh, what's wrong, Silda? You don't want to cuddle up with me? And you just look at Brill, he's covered in blood.
Right, yeah. So that's 5 silver. That's 5 silver there.
My sister and I have no problem sharing a room.
Okay, so that's 5 silver. So that's 15 silver for the rooms, because Sildar has already thrown 5 silver down. And let's say let's call it 1 gold piece for all the drinks.
Sounds great.
Right. Grab a table. I'll bring your drinks over for you.
Oh, thanks so much.
So,
So,
what do you do? There's a few tables dotted round, some at the edges, a couple sort of more in the middle.
I'm okay with just piling down at the first available table.
Me
Brill's
too.
okay with that as well.
We're not a bunch of edgelords here.
I need to sit.
I'm actually getting really worried about Brill.
It's just fading away slowly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gone a pink colour instead of the deep red you're used to.
Brill, are you all right?
I'm a champion. Yeah. I'm
But a
good.
champion of what?
Pain. Oh,
Hey,
so much pain.
did he like slips the hand over and like touches his forearm and casts Cure Wounds?
Okay.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a champion.
Wow.
Nothing can get me down. See,
At
guys.
which point Brill sort of looks like, in the old Popeye cartoons, after he's chugged a can of spinach and sort of his muscles just instantly perk up. That's how Brill suddenly looks, sat upright in his chair,
What
and some
muscle?
color starts to returns to his cheeks. So the male that you'd spoken to behind the bar comes over with the drinks and puts them down on the table. Here we go then. So we have the gallon of ale, and we have a tea for you, sir. And he puts down a cup of steaming water in front of Ochi, and it looks like it has some color to it, but he does say, I hope it's all right. We don't get many people asking for tea, to be honest with you. What with the water supply, it tends to be more just ale that people drink. But I hope it's good for you. And your food will be along in a second, my friend. He says to Brill. And he says, I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm the owner of this place. My name's Tablin Stonehill. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. My name is Serenity, and this is my brother
Serenity.
Haro.
Harrow.
And this is Brill, and this is Ochi.
Excellent. I will try my very best to remember those. So what brings you into town?
Rest. Well, we were delivering a cart over to the provisions.
Oh, old Elmer. He's a lovely guy, but don't let him get you talking, because you'll be there all day.
I gather conversation's a little thin on the ground around here with new folk.
Oh well, yeah, you could say that. We're just a small mining settlement, so people come here, stay here, and never leave. And it's not very often that we see new faces. So yeah, we all kind of appreciate having someone new to talk to.
So, small town, not terribly exciting. Why a gang?
Gang, and this you kind of make a perception. Sorry, no, make an insight check for me.
Can I make that too?
Yeah, anyone that wants to can make an insight check. Okay, so Morpheus, can you do me a favor and can you just quickly jump into the general voice chat for me? Thank you.
Ooh.
Brill's too busy dribbling, thinking about the food that's coming.
Serenity doesn't really seem to stop talking for the most. So she'll make small conversation with Toblin and with Brill and with Ochi, even if they're not talking or Brill's just in his drink or whatever. She'll be like, well, anyway, crazy time we had on the road, am I right?
Brill's a little bit livelier, so you actually get some conversation out of him.
That's good. Yeah, I like that she kept not being able. We kept forgetting to heal you.
Oh.
Couldn't find him, and then he got birthed by a horse, and for some reason it took me 2 hours to remember to heal Brill.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you say, Harrow says, "What's this about a gang?" And the Toblin says, "Gang? I don't know what you mean."
Oh, my mistake. Thank you for the ale.
Not a problem. Your food will be out in a second. Just bear with me. And he kind of scurries back to the counter. He nips into a room off at the side, which you assume is where the sort of the kitchen is.
Kind of hunker down around this gallon of ale. Look to everyone and be like, you were all helping me with this. I am not drinking all of this. Also, I'm pretty sure this bar is getting shaken down by these gang.
Wait, what?
What?
Okay, you have to help me drink all this booze.
No,
No, that part, I think we got that part.
I can
Oh.
do that. I can help.
Oh, good. It's a dark. I hope you don't mind dark.
Harrow, get on
It'll be
with
fine.
And I believe our fellow friendly innkeep is being shaken down by a gang.
right by the red brands. She whispers conspiratorially.
He didn't even know about them though. If he was getting shaken down by them, surely he'd know about them.
That's a good point.
If you're getting shook by a gang, you don't just talk to everyone about it, especially if there's a threat of violence.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And at this
Yeah,
point,
okay.
while you're chatting, a woman comes over. She comes out from the kitchen, and she brings over a big bowl of stew for Brill, which Brill had ordered. She said, "Well, hi there. Who's having the stew?"
Over here, missus.
Oh, you're funny, aren't you? Nice to meet you. My name's Trilena.
Well, I'm very happy to meet the two of you.
Now don't you go talking like that, young man. My husband won't like it. He'll throw you out.
Oh.
I'm a lot happier to see the stew. Don't worry, don't worry.
And you get the feeling that Trilena is probably used to this. She's not taking that bit too seriously. You hope. Let me just quickly roll something. Hang on.
Frying pan comes out.
Serenity like laughs in that like disarming look. He hangs out with a woman, so he's probably fine.
Okay, that's fine. I've made a note. So she says, so what y'all in town for?
We were bringing stuff in for the provisions shop,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's time for us to sleep. Get some good food in us, some drinks, and take a long rest.
Oh, I only got one order for the stew. I'm sorry. Had more people ordered it?
No, but perhaps we could have, say, maybe a loaf of warm bread, some cheese and meat, maybe?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we can do that. Let me go and rustle that up. It'll probably be about, can we say maybe, let's say another 2 silver.
That sounds fine.
Oh, wonderful, fantastic. Let me just go and get that ready for you, and she heads back to the kitchen.
So, what do
So
we think about this nice place getting roughed up by organized crime?
Wouldn't it be? I think probably we should enjoy our stew and maybe talk about it in our rooms later.
How good is this stew?
the stew is pretty damn good. I mean, when you consider that 8 hours ago you were knee deep in the bodies of goblins, you had worked up quite an appetite. So the stew tastes it tastes nice. The herbs aren't overpowering. The meat is tender without being stringy. It's a nice stew.
Yeah, we need to talk about this. This is a good place.
In our room.
So perhaps we should have our meals retire to at least one room communally and have a discussion and then maybe start asking around tomorrow.
Okay. So you sort of finish your foods. Trilena brings out the meats and cheese and bread. Toblin, her husband, the owner, has comes over and gives out a couple of 3 keys. So we've got Ochi in his own room, Brill in his own room, and Harrow and Serenity are sharing. Yeah. Okay, so he brings over 3 keys for the rooms and says they're just up the stairs. You can't miss them. It's the first 3 rooms on the right hand side.
Thank you, good sir.
Thank you. And he kind of holds your gaze for a little second longer than would normally be comfortable, Harrow, and then heads away again.
I think he likes you.
Yeah, I think he does too.
Well, hang on, he's married.
Like that likes me.
So before you head upstairs, just one thing that you notice is that a lot of the locals who are in there, they kind of looked up at you as you came in, and now they all seem to be almost deliberately avoiding your gaze. As a party, they're all sort of very much keeping themselves to themselves. And if you can bear with me a second, I'm just going to quickly nip to the bathroom.
Okay. Well, we're upsetting the status quo.
Apparently.
I will say, with all of the, well, townsfolk, villagers, I don't know, with them all avoiding looking at us, Brill's actually relaxed a little bit more. He's having a very happy time.
So, Brill,
Yeah.
are you originally from Neverwinter?
Well, yeah, actually. Yeah, I am. Grew up right by the chasm. Yeah.
So, my sister and I started heading that way for familial reasons. You being a tiefling, I was curious if maybe you could enlighten me on maybe certain going ons in Never.
Well, I could, I could try. Yeah, sure. I mean, ask away.
So there's rumors of tiefling communities in Neverwinter congregating into cults. Sound familiar?
No. And Brill looks very out of his depth at this point.
There was rumors of worshippers of Asmodeus, tieflings that have decided to fall in line with the dark god.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. What are these like? Are these like rumors, or are these like truth rumors?
Serenity like squints and kind of looks at him but doesn't say anything.
Right. Okay. Sorry about
More
that.
like rumors that are well founded from reliable sources.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that's gonna suck. That's gonna. I um I wasn't always as red as this.
Well, they used to be quite a diversity in tieflings prior to the Lord Asmodai seizing all of us and then turning a majority of us red.
No, that's not what I. And Brill take off his gloves, and you'll see on his right hand 2 human-looking fingers, and he'd say, "Well, I actually used to look exactly like Ochi here. I wasn't born with the horns and the, tail."
You guys are twins too?
No, 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 mate, no, no, definitely not. No, I used to be a little bouncing baby human boy.
Wait, what? How does
What?
wait, how does that work? Serenity doesn't look judgmental at all, by the way. She looks like profoundly interested.
Caro a little more judgmental.
No. It's not. It's kind of boring. It's not that exciting. I mean,
Will you please tell us?
well, I took a job to deliver a message to another town. Got lost in the forest. When people get lost in forests, they usually die. I was eaten by a monster, and some druids came upon me, or what was left of me, and they brought me back from being dead. But you don't get to choose how you come back.
So, if I may, you left Neverwinter on an adventure to go to another town, got lost and died, and then took another job to go from Neverwinter to another town.
Brill just looks at his feet, scratches the back of his head. He's like, I don't have a choice in these things.
Serenity puts a hand like on his shoulder, and she's like, "I really appreciate your diligence and how brave you are."
Yeah.
Brave?
Yeah, I
That's what
suppose I am
all
brave.
you do.
Yeah.
Right, as long as you're buying into it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a big brave red man.
So you're not actually a tiefling.
Well, I can see in the dark really well, but I don't know.
And you're sure it was druids that brought you back.
Yeah, I mean, they're the first thing I saw when I came back.
They have a big sign on them that said, "Hello, we're the druids who brought you back."
Pretty much.
I mean, it seems par for the course. We had a cart that said plague on it.
Yeah, we did. We should have remembered that.
Yeah, we should have.
I remembered, but I didn't want to wash off your art. I was
Thank
gonna put
you.
it on the refrigerator.
Serenity, make a persuasion check, please.
I'm gonna make an insight check.
So actually, Serenity, are you being genuine or are you just trying to make Brill feel better?
Serenity was genuinely wanting to like find a way to preserve the art that Brill did because she was so proud of him. Like all of her sweet talk and like bullshit, happy-go-lucky shit is all genuine.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm a big, strong tiefling artist.
Yeah, you are.
I'm sorry.
Right,
That's-
so maybe we should get back on the point.
Beautifully delivered line there, Steve. That was
Real
I'm
sauce.
I'm
his
in
own
I'm
head
in
now.
awe.
So these red brands.
Oh, is Ochi back?
Oh yeah, he's back.
Yes, I think we have it.
I just can't read apparently.
That's
think
fine.
it's-
It's an acquired skill. You'll get there eventually. We believe in you.
Aw, thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Just don't give up, okay?
Okay.
So this town definitely seems concerned by these, troubled by these red brands, and concerned about our interest in the red brand. Thoughts?
Are we in our room now?
If you want to be in your room, we can say that the meal was finished and you were up in your room. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. Great. I was just checking to make sure we had relocated. So do you think that they're shaking down the whole town?
Enough people in there seem a bit wary of our interest after I spoke up. So either the town is being extorted, or something similar, or at least being roughed up, or they're just genuinely wary of travelers, except for the people who can make money off of us. But they were interested when we arrived. They were not interested when we left. I mean, we do need to eventually figure out where Gundren is. I would think we shouldn't leave our employer out to dry.
Yeah, I think that and I'll stay in the same room, maybe set up pillows and blankets in the empty rooms if we're worried about it.
And there's also the fact that
Tolbin that doesn't want to talk about them. Everybody, like, oh, the other two places, they wanted to talk about them, but it was just him that was. Yeah, forget it.
No, he's right. We only
knew about
maybe
it.
he's the one that's under their thumb.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna put a chair behind my door.
Do the doors connect or no?
No, they are individual rooms. They don't have connecting doors or anything like that. So each room has one door, and that's it. And each room also has a out. So let's see there. So we will say right hand side. So the windows that you are in overlook this side of the sort of the southernmost You like.
Nice. So do we get to see all the people coming and going?
Yeah, anyone that is coming along this path in particular, you would see. You won't see up there because your windows don't face that way, and you could probably just make out the Lion Shield coaster from one of the windows. So yeah, that's kind of your
Nice. That's
frame
actually a
of
pretty good
reference.
view.
Yeah, at least you're not overlooking the stables. You just have a view of horse shit.
So in the morning, should we check out the rest of the community and see what they know about Craigmaw Castle and maybe these red brands and what their effect on Toblin is?
Me too. I think it's Toblin though, but it might be Toblin.
It is Toblin. I think the first time I said Tolbin, so that's my fault. Toblin, Toblin.
All right, then. I suggest we get some sleep.
Okay. So
And breakfast.
and then be at breakfast. Okay, so you all have a good night's sleep. That is absolutely fine. You all can take a long rest. So you can each recover 1 hit dice. And obviously your hit points go back up to full, as do any features, traits, anything like that that you have. Lay on hands, pool goes back up, etc., etc. It is an uneventful night. You all sleep well. Brill, in particular, his head barely touches his mediocre pillow before he sleeps. And as Brill sleeps, the conversation that he had with his compatriots before bed means that his dreams are of forests, monsters, and druids. But of that, he still sleeps. It doesn't affect his ability to fully have a long rest. But the next morning, Brill, you are somewhat discomfited. You kind of, it's, when you get a dream and you know that it was a weird dream, can't really remember what the contents were. You just know that something wasn't quite right. That's sort of how you feel the next morning. So you all go down to breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay. And you head back down into the central room, and there are actually what look to be a lot of the same individuals who were sat here last night are sat here again this morning. They're not, it looks like they've gone home and come back. It's not like they've done an all-night session. And you realise that probably this is, for a lot of people, they come here for their evening meal, they come back here for breakfast. If they were having lunch, they would come back here. It's not like everyone's cooking at home for the most part. They come to the inn, it's cheap, but the food is made for them. So a lot of the same individuals are sat at the exact same tables, and they look up as you come in. One extra individual who you didn't notice last night is a young half-elf who looks to be about 10 years old, and he is sort of kneeling down next to at the end of the bar, and he's wearing sort of what look like almost like sort of very simple dungaree style overalls, a white cotton shirt that looks like it's probably been whiter at times. He's got sort of unkempt hair. He's wearing simple leather boots, and he's got a toy. It's a very small toy cart with a little carved horse, and he's playing with him quite simply. And he looks up as you come down the stairs into the common, and he looks round at Toblin, who is there, and says, "Dad, Dad, is that them?" And Toblin says, "Yes, it is, son. But what have I told you before? Don't bother the guests." And this young lad looks very sort of kind of disappointed and goes back to playing with his carved horse, his little cart. And every so often just kind of shyly looks up at you all as you sit at the table.
Well, Serenity doesn't sit at the table. She walks over to that little boy and sits on the ground and asks what his horse's name is and talks to him about whatever he wants to talk about.
Well, my horse's name is Wilson, and are you really adventurers?
Yes, we are.
Oh wow, that's awesome! What adventures have you done?
Well, our most recent one took us through a cavern full of goblins.
And at this, his eyes go so wide, and he is just absolutely enraptured. Were you scared?
I was scared, and it's okay to be afraid, as long as you're brave as well.
I am brave. I'm going to be an adventurer when I grow up, you know.
I believe you. What's your name so I know who to look for in a few years?
My name's Pip.
Well, Pip, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Serenity.
Serenity, wow, that's a pretty name. I'm going to be an adventurer with my friend Carp, and we're training really hard every day.
Earl's gonna walk over. Well, hey there, Pip.
Oh, hi, are you an adventurer too?
Yep, I'm Serenity's second-hand man.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool.
It means I help.
Oh,
Serenity
I
kinda
do know
giggles
what that means.
So you said when you're grown up, you're gonna be an adventurer?
That's right. Me and my friend Carp. We've got an adventure planned already. We just need to train first.
So when are you planning on doing this adventure?
Well, we need to be trained. We need to be fast at running, and we need to be good at sword fighting. And we're not good enough yet. We've started to get really good at exploring.
What sorts of things do you explore?
And at this, Pip sort of looks around and kind of looks to make sure that Toblin isn't hanging around, and he sort of leans in and whispers and says, "Do you promise not to tell anyone?"
Serenity leans in the same conspiratorially way and nods with her eyes wide.
Okay, my friend Carp, he said that he found a secret tunnel in the woods. We're going to explore. We're going to explore the tunnel, but, and then this is kind of, you can see he's trying to get all of his words out at once, and almost they're all tripping over his tongue as it comes out. But Carp was going to explore without me, but then Red Brands almost caught him, and he said it was so close.
That sounds really scary. You should be very careful. I like that you two are aware enough to know that you need to be prepared before going on an adventure.
Because we don't want to have to fight all the Red Brands if we're not ready to fight them, you know.
It's a lot. I don't think that my friends and I would be able to fight all of them.
Oh, there's lots and lots and lots of them, but it's really easy to spot who they are. Do you want to know how?
She like leans further in and she's like, yes.
They all wear red cloaks.
Red cloaks, huh?
Yeah, that's how you know that they're one of the red brands.
You are very helpful and very smart. And Serenity like turns and looks at Brill and is like, maybe my second-hand man position is gonna be taken over soon.
Brill just goes stone dead in the face and just looks this kid Pip dead in the eyes and says, "Don't go into the forest. Don't go exploring unless your
Brill.
father tells you you're okay to."
Brill, can you please roll an intimidation check for me?
Oh no!
So Pip looks at you for a minute and just starts laughing like, "You're so funny! Is he always this funny, Serenity?"
Serenity like puts a compassionate hand on Brill's shoulder and says, yes, he is. He is a joy to be around at all times.
Brill's just having flashbacks of being eaten in the woods.
So at this point, Toblin comes out from the kitchen and he has a big plate of bacon and bread and puts it down on your table and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry about Pip. He's not bothering you, is he?"
No, if anything, I came over and bothered him.
He gets his flights of fancy. We try to we try to keep him sensible, but you know what kids are like.
Have you tried redirecting that energy? Maybe pointing out ways that doing chores will help him grow big and strong to be a tough adventurer one day?
You don't have children, do you, miss?
No.
That's if you don't mind my saying so, that's obvious. I've yet to find a way to get a 10-year-old interested in chores. And he says, and then he stops for a second and turns to Pip, turns back to you and says, "What do you mean adventurer? He's not been telling you about him and his friend Carp, has he?"
Telling us about him and his friend Carp? Are you saying Carp with a C?
Sorry, yes, Carp. C-A-R-P. He's he has this ridiculous idea about going on adventures, and he's talking about going into the woods, which obviously his mother and I have absolutely refused. But yeah, I blame Carp personally. They're best friends, but he puts some crazy ideas in my boy's head.
There's nothing wrong with the aspirations of an adventurer, but being a responsible child first.
I mean, no offense to y'all, you seem like nice folks, but I think he's had his head turned by you all coming in here looking so heroic last night. So yeah, I'm going to have to keep an eye on him today because otherwise he'll be off in the woods.
She like turns and looks at Pip, and she says, "If I give you a token, will you promise to stay here and help out your dad today?"
And then Pip looks at Toblin, and Toblin just looks back down at Pip and sort of raises his eyebrows. Pip looks back at Serenity and nods sadly.
So Serenity will take like pieces off of her skirt and she'll like braid them together and like be like, can I put this on your wrist?
And Pip sort of shyly holds out his arm.
So Serenity will tie it on and lean in, and she's like, now you're officially a part of my crew, and sometimes that means you have to be responsible, even if it's not as fun as you think adventuring might be.
And at that point, Pip sort of looks sadly at this, essentially this shackle that has just been placed on his wrist, and looks up at Serenity with such a sad look in his eyes. And there's a sort of a look of almost betrayal that he thought you were going to let him, encourage his dad to let him go adventuring for the day, and now he's stuck doing chores, and he just turns and sadly slumps towards the kitchen.
Maybe a little later, when you're done with your chores, you and all of us could go see Carp, and we can teach you a thing or two about. Pull out a dagger and be like,
Or we'll just start with footwork.
Stop giving the boy hope. Stay out of the woods, kid.
At this point, in the 10 steps from where Pippa stood to the kitchen door, with all these different conversations that are being yelled at him from behind, his whole demeanor goes from sad and slumped, and he gets a couple of steps, and then Harrow says that about maybe when your chores are done, and he perks up, and then Harrow says something about a knife, and he perks up even more and starts to look back, and then Brill says, "Stop encouraging him to go in the woods," and then he slumps again, and then he's back to the kitchen, and he's just undergone a whole roller coaster of emotions in those 10 steps. At this point, you guys are doing a pretty good job at psychologically fucking up this kid.
you're just doing adventure things.
So, you sit down and have your breakfast, and at after about 5-10 minutes, the barmaid comes over. They have a barmaid in the mornings because the breakfast rush is probably one of their busier times of day until later in the evening. And she comes over and she says,
Oh, hello. We don't usually get new faces in here.
I don't know why she laughs like Elmo, but there you go. And she kind of winks at Ochi, says,
My, you're a quiet one, aren't you?
Nice.
Ask to see his bug.
say that again, sorry.
Ask to see his little bug.
I don't know what that means. Are you being rude, sir?
No, he's got a little bug with him. It's really quite adorable.
Don't let Tom.
You have a cricket sound effect. Let's go for it. Let's so while Harrow's saying this, and the barmaid is assuming that it's some sort of innuendo and that you're being entirely inappropriate, talking about Ochi's little bug. And then Ochi just reaches into the folds of his robes and brings out a tiny little cricket sat on his hand.
Does it do tricks?
Have I built this up for you, Raymond, and you don't have the sound effect ready? Just look like I have. Here we go. Let's go. bar. That was
Oh.
beautiful. Yeah, the barmaid looks at this cricket and she says,
Oh, he's very loud, isn't he? Don't let Torblin see that here. He'll actually leave. It doesn't like insects. So I hear young Pip tells me that you're adventurers.
Yes, we are.
Indeed.
I'm going to have to stop that voice. I'm going to have to go to my normal voice. I'm absolutely destroying my throat there. Sorry.
Got a good impression of it.
Yeah, just imagine that voice for the rest of it. And the barmaid says, "So what are you in town for? Why is there something? Is there something happening?"
Well, we're looking for a friend that's gone missing.
Oh, who's your friend?
A fellow dwarf goes by the last name Rockseeker. Rockseeker? Is that right? Gundren.
Gundren. Oh yes, I know Gundren. Yeah, we've not seen him for a while actually.
Nor have we.
Dear. Well, if you're looking for any colleagues or any patriots, go and see Darren Edermath over by the apple orchard. He used to be an adventurer, you know.
Eaterman?
Fantastic. We will do that. Thank you so much.
That's all right. Any more drinks for you?
No, but maybe I could get well, I can't speak for them. No drinks for me, but could I have maybe like a bowl of oatmeal?
Yeah, let me go and see. And you get the feeling that oatmeal is probably something that they get asked for sometimes, but most people around here are stocking up on bacon in the mornings.
Or
But
bacon.
yeah, and yeah, that's fine. And that will be another, let's say, another copper piece.
Serenity will hand it over with an extra one for like a.
Oh, thank you very much. And she tucks it down her cleavage, and she sort of winks at Ochi and says, "No man will get their hands on my money that way."
And rib him with an elbow and be like, I think she likes you.
And with
Look,
that,
it's
she
just to
turns
get this copper.
and heads back to the kitchen.
Why? Is it starting to jog your memory? Should I be worried?
Whoa, I mean, I didn't know anything about anyone important back in Neverwinter, but when I was with the Druids, they had us study all the faiths. Maybe I can think of something regarding that.
Do I need to slide you money to jog your memory? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I wasn't, but you could.
So roll a religion check for me.
Okay.
Okay, so you would with a roll like that, but I will have to do a bit of reading myself. So I will send you some information about what you would know with that roll. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair enough. So you just kind of, I don't know how to play this. Just say, you know what? I think there's something, but it's just I can't quite remember it just now. But there's definitely something. I'll get back to you with this.
Oh, we've got more pressing things at hand than hunting down cultists in Neverwinter, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose.
So you don't want to talk to the wife of the Enki?
I mean, she does good stew. Oh, what what else? would I
That's a
talk to her about?
euphemism if ever I heard one.
Well, ask her about Cragmaw Castle. Ask her about the Red Brands. Ask her if there's any relations between the two. We may have just found out that there is a hidden tunnel somewhere. Maybe that leads to Cragmaw Castle.
Are you loudly projecting this?
No, I'm
in-
keeping it. I'm
in-
keeping
okay,
it
okay.
table level.
I'll do it. I'll go and ask. What was her name?
Trilena.
No, Bill's asking the group.
Oh, sorry.
Trilena.
Okay, Trilana. Okay, go ask Trilana.
Do you need another drink to steel your courage? Brave, strong artist Brill.
You know what? No, I don't. And he puffs his chest.
You get him.
Well done, well done.
Storms off.
Okay,
Looks
so-
around.
So Trilena is at the bar, sort of wiping down the bar, keeping things tidy as the breakfast trade goes along nicely, and she looks up as you approach her and say, "Oh, good morning. How did you sleep?"
Very well. And you?
At which point she looks at you with a kind of a quizzically raised eyebrow and goes, "I slept fine, thank you. Next to my husband."
Good. He's a lovely man. Now, Crackmore Castle. Do you know where it is?
Sorry. You, sorry, I didn't quite catch that last line over the collective laughs of the rest of the party. Were you asking about Cragmore Castle?
Yeah, so Brill just dives straight through into, so Cragmore Castle. Do you know where that is?
And she looks absolutely blank and says, "I've never heard of Cragmore Castle. I'm sorry, no."
Oh, mustn't be a very big castle then. You know, I'm somewhat of an artist, and I was thinking of finding a venue such as a castle to do an art exhibition. So that's why I was asking you about it, but there's no need to go into that.
Roll a
We're
deception
dying
check.
over here.
And there's talking about art exhibitions and castles, and at this point Trilena looks at you as if to that sort of look that you give someone when you're not sure how to try and keep eye contact with them, at the same time trying to find the nearest emergency exit. That's the look she's giving you right about now.
Brill
She
is now
says-
starting to visibly sweat.
And she said, "I mean, I don't know how much call there would be for an art exhibition out here when that tends to happen more in the big cities like Neverwinter.
Yeah, I'm from Neverwinter. Just thought I'd, come out here and expand. Brill starts looking over to Harrow, just staring at him.
Is that
He's
like a
forgotten what else to
wingman
ask.
glance?
He's forgotten what to ask, so he's just it's a panic glance.
So there's a like kind of a sly mirth to Harrow's smile as he gets up. He's like, "I'll be right back. Somebody needs a wingman," and walk over to Brill and just put an arm around his shoulder and go, "So, how goes it? It's my friend here just making conversation, being a bit Brillish."
Brillish? That's a new one. I've never heard that before.
It's a term purely coined for our friend here. He's not very good at small talk.
Oh, I noticed.
What else was I supposed to ask her?
So, what's your plans for today then?
Oh, we're going to make a rounds the town, meet some people, ask some questions. We're trying to find a friend. But on top of that, we've noticed there's been kind of a strange air around the town.
Strange air?
Something about some crimson cloaked fiends or something like that.
Very, very
And
thematic. You see, it would be very useful for my my art exhibition at Craigmore Castle.
What are
I
you
love the
talking
fact that-
about?
I love the fact that Brill's still trying to keep this line going. Like when you get so deep into a lie that it's easier to just keep going rather than try and dig your way out of that particular hole.
I'm literally dying.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Ma'am, I do hate to pry, but I did bring up these red brand folks to your husband last night, and he seemed reluctant to speak about them. Is everything all right?
And she sort of gives a sigh and she looks to make sure that Toblin's nowhere in earshot. And she says, he's afraid. He doesn't want to make trouble. He has sort of an arrangement with them that he pays their protection money, he doesn't kick up a fuss, and they let us trade as usual. He doesn't want any difficulties. He doesn't want to make a scene of our son. He's too proud to admit it himself. So please don't mention it to him. But that's he's afraid. We're all afraid. Red Brands have been terrorizing us for a few months now.
How badly are they skimming from you?
Enough that it's noticeable, but not enough that it makes it.
And are they actually protecting you, or do they mean they're just taking their payments not to hurt you?
And at this, she just laughs and says, "You're obviously new around here."
Very.
Yeah.
Like I said, I came out here from Neverwinter to expand my art. So yeah, we're from out of town.
His righteous art.
But we're brave and strong, as all artists have to be. So you can tell us anything.
Again, sorry.
No, he just waffles off and just kind of trails.
So at this, she has a look round. Now it's more about making sure that none of the other patrons are listening. And she leans in and she says, "Well, you didn't hear this from me, but about a 10-day ago, one of the local guildsmith, the woodcarver, Fel Dendra,
he stood up to the Red Brands. They came by his shop, and they were leering at his wife, and he didn't like that. And he stood up to them. So the Red Brands murdered him. Quite a few people saw it happen, but no one will speak of it. And the Red Brands, they took his body, and now his wife and his daughter and son have gone missing too. I wish it was just extorting money that we could cope with, but now they're murdering and we assume kidnapping. It's getting very.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be looking to use these guys for my exhibition. They don't seem legit. Yeah, sorry to hear about that.
Brill, are you hungry? I bet you're thirsty, aren't you?
I'm just.
Maybe you
I'm
should
so
go.
hungry. I need to go back. I need to go back to the table. I'm starving. Yeah. He walks up.
And Trilina just sort of looks at Brill walking away back to the table, and looks at Harrow and just says, "Is he all right?"
I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Yeah,
Anyway.
he's on the right path. He just is very zigzaggy about how he gets there.
That's a very diplomatic way to describe one of your friends.
Well, ma'am, I can make no promises, but we're here to help. And we will not attach anyone's name to our deeds other than our own.
Well, that would be appreciated. We can't afford to have the Red Brands come and start making trouble for us. It's taken us 3 years to get this in the way it is, and we really don't want to have to start again.
Do they happen to congregate anywhere, or
The Red Brands.
correct?
Yes, there's one other pub. It's a bit further along the path at the side here. It's called the Sleeping Giant, and that's where they tend to hang out. They've kind of claimed the place as their own, and it's been good for our business in some ways because it means that everyone avoids the Sleeping Giant, comes here, but more taking, more extortion.
In Harrow's head, he's just going, a competing inn that has gangs in it, and they wanted me to trade my torches away.
Oh shit.
Well, thank you. I will return to my friends, and we'll see what we can arrange.
And she sort of smiles nervously and heads towards the kitchen. And as she's going into the kitchen, Pip comes out with his little bracelet that Serenity's given him, and looks at Serenity, catches Serenity's eye, and sort of holds it up and points at it as if to say, "I'm sticking to my bargain."
Serenity gives him like a big old cheesy thumbs up and a big smile. Like she's like stoked.
And just at that point, that's when Trilina reaches in and shuffles him back into the kitchen out of sight.
I will rejoin the table and be like, look what you've done to that child. Future adventurer. I love it.
Not to be dramatic, but I would die for him.
Well, I want you to keep that in mind as we continue with this line of thought.
Let me just quickly roll something. Oh, poor Pip.
Oh, don't do this to me.
He's messing Jay out. He's bluffing. I'm sure he's bluffing.
Did Pip even make it out of the kitchen?
Pip got pretty much to the threshold, flashed his bracelet, and then his mother swept him back into the kitchen. That was as far out as he got. But I mean, there's lots of
dangerous tools in the kitchen, lots of fire, lots of knives.
Kitchen goblins.
I'm just saying.
All right, a lot of you eat up your food. Let's go exploring.
Okay, so as you finish your food and leave the inn, you are looking into this street here, and you can see just across from you directly, if you're looking west, is a small, what looks like a small pile of stones. And, you can look down to the left and you have Line Shield Coster there. Up to the right, you have Barton's Provisions. And apart from that, you really know what anything else in town is.
I'm going to take a quick break.
Sure, no worries.
So what did you say was across the street? Across the street?
Sorry, yes.
Across the street.
So across the street, just there, is a small. It's like a small stack of stones. It's only about 5 feet tall, and there is someone just sat on the ground next to it. From there, you'd be able to see it's a young elf.
Huh. Okay. So like a either like a burial or a monument, but it's these people obviously don't have like a dwarf in here chiseling out great pillars or anything, so they're like, we're gonna stack stone.
Yeah, I mean, you get the feeling from. Well, make a religion check for me, Harold. It's a stack of stones. It's
Man.
It's a stack of stones with an elf sat next to them.
Guess I'll go investigate and in Harrow's heart he's praying that like all of those stones don't have like names carved on them of like people who are missing. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, please, religion roll, yeah. And Ochi also spends some time admiring the stack of stones. You have no idea what it is.
Please don't be missing people. Please don't be missing people. Please don't be missing people as he just like steps toward.
And as you get over towards it, the young elf, I mean, young in terms of elves, can be anywhere from 30 years to, up to 60 or 70 years. It's very difficult to tell with elves. And she looks up, she stays seated, and she looks at you and smiles serenely and says, "Hello."
Hello. I hope I'm not bothering.
It's never a bother to talk.
I was just coming to inspect all these stacked stones. I wasn't quite sure what it was, and I was hoping in my heart that it wasn't a memorial to people who've gone missing.
And with that, she sort of gives another gentle smile and says, "Oh, it's nothing as dramatic as that. It is my shrine, which I've
Oh.
dedicated to Timora."
It's a luck shrine,
Exactly.
or at least a good fortune shrine.
Indeed. My name is Sister Gariel, and I maintain this shrine
It's nice
for
to
all
meet
who
you.
for all who the guidance of the lady who smiles.
Well, I'm Harrow. This is my sister Serenity and my friends Ochi and Brill.
Hello. Hello. And each one of those hellos, as she looks at each of you and says it, get the feeling that each individual hello is genuine
It's not done out of obligation. I feel that Sister Gariel is happy to always make new acquaintances.
We've recently arrived in town. I suppose guidance would not be out of order, considering what we're facing.
I will help you with what I can, but most of my time is spent in dedication and observance, so I may not spend a great deal of time dealing with the trivialities of
Well, then maybe what we just need is a little bit of luck.
the lady who smiles will always accept.
We're looking for a friend. Uh, he was supposed to meet us here, but at some point was waylaid and absconded with by goblins. A dwarf by the name of Gundren Rockseeker. Have you heard of him?
I have. I believe most people in Van Dullen be aware of Gun.
He apparently was taken to a place called Cragmaw Castle. I don't know where it is around here, and it seems quite difficult to find any information regarding that. Do you know anyone who might have a better lay of the land? Perhaps fortune will guide us to the right person to guide us to the right place?
I do not know the place that you speak of. I have never heard of Crag Castle. Not sure that. Let me hold your hand a second. And she puts out her hand to Harrow.
Harrow absolutely offers.
And she looks you in the eye and says, "Is your purpose true?"
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Is your purpose true?
It-
I'll type it.
It is indeed.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage. Okay. So she looks you in the eye and she says, "Have you heard of the Harpers?"
The
And
people
you can.
who have a tendency to be found in taverns?
Sorry?
The who have a tendency to be found in taverns?
No. So roll a history check.
A what?
History, please. Okay. So you would have heard the name before, but Sister Gariel sees that you have a slightly blank look on your face. There's a glimmer of recognition in your eyes, and she explains that the Harpers is an organisation that has risen, been shattered, and risen again several times. We are essentially a net of information. We do not seek power or glory. We only seek fair and equal treatment for all. And as issues come to our attention, we build up our knowledge to ensure that no one individual becomes too powerful, because we understand that power leads to corruption. I do not have the information that you need, but I might be able to offer you something else instead.
You know.
And she reaches behind her and she brings out a jeweled silver comb. And she explains to you that recently my superiors asked me to undertake a very delicate mission to acquire a certain piece of information. They wanted me to persuade a banshee named Agatha to answer a question about a spellbook. I tried to find Agatha in her lair, but she did not appear for me. Agatha is known as a particularly vain individual, and I'm hoping that perhaps an intermediary who presents her with this token of esteem might be able to trade for an answer to one question. I need to know from my superiors where the spellbook belonging to the legendary mage Bogentle is. If you can do this for me, I will give you 3 potions of healing in advance as payment.
Where is this lair located?
The lair is near a village called Conyberry. Let me just bring. Well, so the village of Conyberry is over to the east. So it's further along the Tribor Trail. You reckon maybe about half a day's journey, a bit longer perhaps. She says, head to Conyberry and then from there into the forest and you will find Agatha's lair. You will know it when you see it.
I think that is something we can undertake as long as it's not particularly imperative it be done right this moment.
My superiors need an answer soon. This
Days?
information has been eluding them for some time, and they grow restless to get the answer they need.
I would just turn to the group and go, I know it's a bit of a sidetrack, but if the Harpers have a network of information, perhaps if we do this for them, we can find what we're looking for.
And they need the spell book for the knowledge inside of it.
Say that again, sorry.
They need the spell book for the magic inside, or for the knowledge inside.
And Sister Gariel smiles and says, I did not ask the purpose of this knowledge. I only know what I have been asked, and that is to discover the location of the book. I do not know why they want it.
And you don't know of any castles or lairs around here that might house goblins that might be along.
I believe there are quite often goblins along the Tribor Trail, which runs between where we are here in Fandolin up to Conyberry. I'm not aware of any castles, no. There's Tresender Manor up on the hill, and she points back past the Stone Hill Inn to the manor that you saw on the top of the hill yesterday. And she says, but I don't believe anyone would refer to that as a castle.
Do goblins stay there?
Honestly, I do not know where the goblins come from. I've heard reports of goblins in the area. I don't believe anyone has ever seen goblins at the manor directly, but it's possible. And as I said, I'm happy to give you 3 potions of healing if you'll agree to this task.
Brill, are you up for traveling?
Yeah. I mean, there is that Darren guy that we need to talk to first, but yeah, after that, why not?
Sister, there's an adventurer by one of the orchards around here by the name of Darren Elder
Oh,
something around.
Darren Edermath.
That's it.
Yes,
could you point us
I
in
know
the
Darren.
direction?
Yes, absolutely. The Edermath Orchard is in fact not far from here. It's just head up to the top of the road and then take a left. You can't miss it. And she basically gives you the directions which point you, yeah, exactly to up to there. You could also cut over the green, but the town master doesn't like people walking.
The town
It's
master?
better. Yes, town master Harbin. Horrible man.
How so?
He has. It's not for me to speak out of turn. You understand. I try to see the good in all people, but some are suited to a life of high office. Others are not. And it is safe to say that Townmaster Harbin firmly sits in the second category.
Duly noted. Well, sister, can we give to your shrine or take a moment of guided prayer? What would be appropriate here?
An offering to the lady would be more than welcome.
What would be appropriate? I'm not terribly familiar with Timora. Coin would
A
probably
coin,
be most appropriate.
coin, which, as many know, as a symbol of luck itself, would always be gratefully accepted.
So Serenity reaches into her bag and pulls out like a handful of silver pieces.
Okay? And
So
you
she
hand
gives
them
over
over?
8. Mm-hmm.
8 silver, okay? And Sister Gariel takes them, smiles serenely, looks at you and says, "A copper to the lady returns 10 gold. Please accept his blessing from the Lady of Luck."
Serenity gives a nod and seems very grateful.
Hey, a quiet prayer murmured under his breath from Harrow.
Okay?
So you say if we cut across the green, the town master might notice?
I don't know that he would notice, but if he did, you'd be guaranteed that he would not be particularly happy.
A sly smile kind of pulls at Harrow's lips. Like, well, we are on a bit of a time constraint.
Serenity looks at Harrow with a mom look.
Fine, we'll take the road. But I wouldn't mind the town master's eye on us. Maybe we could have an audience with him.
And Sister Gariel says, "Well, you wouldn't have far to go. The town master's hall is just across the road from Lion Shield Coster."
Thank you so much for your time, sister. We will make haste in your endeavor to find the information you require.
That would be appreciated.
So,
So, if someone wants to add into the loot, or however you're keeping track of it, 3 potions of healing.
On it.
So what's the plan, gang?
so it sounds like we have a growing list of people to speak to. Did we want to speak to the lion coster? Since we're here.
Oh. Yeah, we should probably go look. I'm having trouble keeping track of our social obligations at this point.
Yeah, I'll do my best to keep us on point, but let's go to the lion, and then we'll go from.
Okay, so you head to Lion Shield Costa, and you enter. Again, the door is unlocked, and stood behind the counter once more, you have Lineen Greywind. And she smiles as you come and say, "Ah, you kept your word, you've returned. Are you looking to purchase some weaponry?"
Yes, we'd like to browse if that's all right.
By all means, please do. Anything in particular that you're in the market for? What in particular would you be interested in purchasing?
You wouldn't happen to have any pole arms like a glaive or whatnot?
Indeed, I do, sir. Let me see. She sort of looks over her shelves and says, not here. And she says, "1 second, please." And she heads out to the back room, and then she comes back in a second later with a glaive in hand. And a glaive is a fairly hefty piece of kit. And she says, "This is my last one. It's beautifully put together, as you can see. This sells for 20 gold pieces."
Is that a firm price? Or can we perhaps figure out some favors I can do?
So make a persuasion check with advantage, since you returned her goods yesterday. For you, I could let you have this for, let me see, and she thinks for a second. I'll let you have it for 16 gold.
I'll have to consult the pocketbook.
Serenity laughs and pulls out 16 gold.
Okay, so you now are the proud owner of a glaive, so you can add that into your character sheet.
Thank you, ma'am. But again, is there any particular things you need done that I could earn more favor with the lion?
To be honest, you've already done us a great favor by returning our goods. I can tell that you're not with the red brands, so
Very true.
that's kind of already put you in my favor. But there's not really. We're traders. I'm just glad to have my stock back.
Well, can you tell us anything about the red brands?
I can tell you that they're scum. Uh, they 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 don't come here. They know I won't serve them because I don't agree with their, shall we say, business practices. Uh, they are they're very troublesome. Whatever you do, avoid the sleeping giant. That's where they tend to congregate.
Are there many of them?
Their numbers vary. There always seems to be at least half a dozen in the village, sometimes more. We're not sure where the rest of them come from, to be honest with you, but they always keep a presence in town.
Are they tough?
Are they tough?
Yep.
And she sort of looks at you as you ask that and kind of gives a bit of a chuckle. And she says, well, they're really the dregs of the ruffians around here. Anyone that's not good enough for a bandit party ends up joining the red brands. They're not individually, they're probably not much to speak of, but they have their strength in numbers and in the fear that they exert over the village.
Huh.
Whoa. Say a group of people went into the sleeping giant and there was a big fight in there, and these red weirdos, whoever they are, got their asses handed to them. What do you suppose would happen after that?
Well, personally, I think it would be hilarious. Uh, the danger is recrimination. The red brands aren't exactly the sharpest tools in the shed, you know what I mean? So they obviously have someone higher up, and who knows what action they might take if the authority has been challenged.
Do you think it would make us targets or it would put the town in danger?
Both, potentially.
Well, thank you for answering that fun hypothetical question that my friend just asked.
The thing you'll notice in town is that most people won't speak of the red brands because they're afraid. Fear is a powerful agent when used in the wrong way. Please don't judge my fellow villagers if they seem hesitant to help.
That hadn't even crossed my mind.
They simply want an easy life.
Well, it seems that our goals and the needs of the town have aligned nicely, so we will do our best to help where we can.
Well, that would be appreciated. And I can provide some supplies at reasonable price if you need any weapon.
You don't happen to have manacles, do you?
Manacles. She has a think for a second, and she says, let me look." And she sort of searches under the counter, pulls out a pair of manacles, cast iron, and she says, "Oh wow, these, I don't know how long these have been here. 2 gold pieces and they're yours. I only have one set, I'm afraid."
That certainly sends a message if you run into more than one.
I mean, it might be worth checking up at Barthen's. That's manacles are more probably general provision rather than weaponry, so he might have some more.
Is there a blacksmith in town?
Why, yes, there is. There's a smithy. You'll pass him on the way to Barthen's, in fact.
Oh, that's definitely on our way to where we're going. So, if all of you don't mind, can we acquire a pair of shackles? Well, we don't seem to know a lot about the red brands. So maybe we need a red brand so we can ask them about the red brands. I'm
What
not the
did
one
we
who
say
uses a whip.
What did we say last time about
Whoa.
kink shaming?
I think he was more inquiring whether or not he needed to pay me for tomorrow night. So
That was not the way I expected that conversation to go.
hard turn. So one more thing. It sounds like you definitely have a lot of traders going back and forth through the area. Do you happen to know of a Cragmaw castle? I don't recall if we asked you last night.
Cragmaw Castle. I have never heard of a Cragmaw Castle. I'm sorry.
Curses.
I
All
think
you
we have
know
to
is it's
realize.
no, that's fine. All I was going to say was all you know is what Sildar told you he had overheard, which was that it was called Cragmaw Castle.
I think what we need to keep in mind is this is called a castle by goblin standards.
That's exactly what I was going
I
to
was
say.
thinking that. It'd just be a cave.
They may have set a couple blocks into place and said, "Look, construction." Well, thank you so very much for your time. Oh, did we want to get the shackles? Is everyone all right with that?
Ochi said that a bit too quickly there.
And we
I think
are a bunch of horny people.
Someone will probably have candles in their pack already.
Need some oil.
Torches.
Fucking hell.
We are quite the group. Well, very good. Gentlemen, ladies, is there anything else you need?
Not I.
No.
Okay, so you leave Lion Shield Coster. And did you say you're heading up towards the smithy?
Yeah.
So you head up there, and already he is hard at work. He's a tall, well-built human male, ginger hair, stripped off to the waist, and he is working on something. You can't see what it is, but he is already busy hammering away at metal. And he looks up as you approach and says, can I help you?
I was hoping to make a commission, or if you had some handy, which would seem odd, for some shackles.
Shackles, eh? What do you need them for?
Shackling.
As soon as I asked that question, I might have a pair somewhere. I can make you more if you need them. It might take a few days though. I've got a bit of a list, bit of a backlog just now.
Well, we wanted to acquire if you had any on hand. We'll check the provisioner, and if we can't find any there, we'll come back. But keep that in mind if you would, please, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Always happy to make a bit of coin.
Speaking of, how much of that coin goes into your pocket, and how much of that goes to the red brands?
And when you say red brands, you see a look of anger across his face. Just make a general charisma roll for me, please, Harrow. Okay, and he looks at you for a good 20 seconds without saying anything, and then sort of his shoulders slump a bit, and he says, 10%. 10% of every job goes straight into those bastards.
That's why I need the shackles.
Right, well, and he reaches up to a hook that's hanging from one of the eaves in the sort of the smithy building that he's got going, and he reaches up and he has a pair of shackles there, and he hands them over and says, "If it's to get rid of the red brands, take them."
That is exactly the purpose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you do get any of them, give me 5 minutes with them in my hammer. Yeah,
We'll see what we can do.
excellent.
Well
Anything
then,
else?
no, this should do a good start. We will check with the provisioner and go from there.
Oh yeah, and then he just turns and goes back to beating metal.
Who wants a pair of shackles?
I'll just assume I'm holding everything at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about weight or encumbrance or anything like that. So if you want sort of one person to be the holder of stuff, that's fine. I'm not going to penalize you for anything like that.
Serenity is definitely the strongest out of the batch, so.
Hmm.
So to the provisioners? Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so you get up there, and Elmer is nowhere to be seen. It looks like he has left the two young apprentices in charge, and they're kind of, one of them sweeping the floor as you go in, and the others sort of looks to be arranging the last of the supplies that you brought last night. He's kind of putting them on the respective areas of the store. And the one sweeping the floor looks up and says, "Oh, hello again."
Hello.
Hello.
Was it Andir and Thistle?
I'm Thistle, and him over there is Ander. Yeah, that's right.
We were checking in to see if you had any shackles for sale.
At which point, these two teenage boys look at each other, and they're trying very hard to hide a knowing grin, as in, the lady wants to buy shackles. And
There's a cough that interrupts them, and just a steely-eyed demon looking at him.
at which point Thistle says, let me check, and quickly runs out into the back and comes out a minute later with 2 sets. Yeah, I've got some. I have some. Here we go. Shackles. We've got them. Like,
got
you get the
2
feeling that they're
sets.
not left in charge of the store very often, so they're kind of trying to do their best that they can to make a good impression on
So
Barthen.
1.5 gold each, right?
I don't think that's right. Hang on. And they pull out from beneath the desk. They pull out a large
ledger, and they run the finger down, trying to find the listing, and say, it says here 2 gold each.
Harrow just looks at Serenity.
That seems fine.
Okay. 4 gold pieces then, please. Would you like a bag?
No, that's all right. Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like
Okay.
you guys.
We'll wear the
Brill's going to ask if they sell any block and tackles.
Do we sell block and tackles, Thistle? And Thistle looks back and says, "Oh, I'm not sure, Ander. Oh, what's that box? What's that box that Barthen told us to put up there last week? What's in there?" And Thistle thinks for a second and looks up at a box on the very top shelf and fetches a ladder. You know, one of the ones on wheels that sort of go around the edge, and wheels it over, clambers up, lifts the lid off and says, "Is this it?" And lifts out a block and tackle, and sort of shows it to you. Is this what you mean, mister?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, we have one.
Okay. How much would you sell that to me for?
Oh, I don't know. Look in the book again. Look in the book, quick. And at this point, you feel like you sense that they think they're losing the sale. You know, like in a car showroom, and you sort of the mood just shifts when you think, actually, this isn't for me, and everyone knows it. And at this point, the air in the shop is like, "Oh my God, we're going to mess up this sale." And they look in the ledger, and they,
Brill is.
1 gold piece.
Brill just mutters to the rest of the party, "Oh, I should have just bought this yesterday." Are we okay to chip in for one of these for 1 gold piece, or?
Yes.
It seems like a good thing to have, given our history with falling
Yeah,
and climbing.
Okay. Yes, we'll take it for what 1 gold piece, but
1 gold piece. Okay.
I'm not happy about it, but I'll do it anyway because you just seem like such great guys.
Oh, thanks
Great
very much.
guys.
You
Thank
guys
you
really
very
sold
much.
us on that.
Guys.
Mhm.
Do you want a bag?
Yeah, I'll have a sack, please.
Okay. And you sort of find some like a cloth, like a burlap bag, and they put the block and tackle in and say, "Probably supposed to make you pay for this, but I won't tell
They
anyone
only
if you
cost
don't."
1 copper. It's fine.
But okay, 1 copper, please.
Serenity gives him a copper too.
Okay,
Do you want a bag
sure.
too?
Oh. No, that's for you two, actually. She like gives him 2 coppers, like 1 each. She's like,
Oh wow, thanks.
"You're welcome. You both are doing a great job."
Oh, and you can see them sort of like beam with pride. Like, we are doing a great job, aren't we? You know, that sort of look on their face, like all of a sudden, just with the entrance of Serenity, they suddenly have belief in their own abilities for the first time in ages.
That's what it does.
The Serenity is essentially Fandulin's sort of motivational speaker.
Where did Alamar take off to?
Oh, he's still in bed. He tends to start a bit later some days. We don't mind it. It lets us practice in the shop.
Oh, that's good.
Well, you've done a mostly stellar job.
Oh, thanks. Do you mean that?
I genuinely do.
Oh, thanks very much.
Okay, well, we're gonna
And
go.
then they just sort of stand there awkwardly staring at you all like, what do we do now? How do we close this?
Serenity like ushers the
Farewell,
three
master.
boys out.
Bye, bye.
Bye. Thanks again.
Thanks
Day.
for buying all this stuff.
Thanks for being great salespeople.
We're done.
Oh, wow.
Keep going. Stop. Nope.
And-
Go.
And as you leave in the shop, you hear them sort of whispering to each other, sort of like, she liked me more. No, I'm sure she liked me more. But she said we were both great salespeople. Yeah, she did, didn't she? Wow, fantastic. Oh, I feel so good about myself now. And then at that, the door closes and the conversation is muffled.
Nice little town being terrorized by bandits in red.
We should do everything we can to stop the bandits.
Let's hope it's one and the same for what we're trying to achieve. Let's go speak with this Darren adventurer fellow.
Okay, so you continue along the path, and at the end is a tidy little cottage beside an apple orchard. And you see in the orchard a fit-looking, silver-haired half-elf who looks to be well over 100 years old. And he looks up as you come along the path and says, can I help you?
Kind of give him a wave as we approach to kind of show like, hey, we're friendly. We're not particularly armed directly. As we approach him to kind of disarm him and let Serenity take over from here. Maybe, I don't know.
Hello.
Hello,
Are you Master Eatermath?
I am indeed Darren Edermath. It's a pleasure to meet you. Who might you be?
My name is Serenity, and this is my brother Harrow, and these are my friends Brill and Ochi.
Very nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
What can I do for you?
Or the red.
So we were looking for. We heard that you were an adventurer at one point in your.
Indeed, I was. I worked on the in the lands of the Dragon Coast, but I've long retired. I came from Neverwinter originally, and I wanted to move back here when I had a bit more leisure time for myself.
I see. This seems like a very quaint place to retire. And she like leans in, like not too close to him, but like in that conspiracy way, except for the red brand.
Make a. Actually, no, you don't even have to make a roll for that. He looks at you and says, "What do you know about the Red Brands?"
That they're terrorizing this town.
Yes, that's very true. I'm trying to put together a mob to teach them a lesson, but so far the villagers have proved mostly reluctant to work with.
Well, we are your four-man mob, and we would like information on how to help.
Okay.
Do we still have those torches?
See?
Yes, we do.
So he looks at Ochi and says, "Sign up sheet, no." And he looks at Brill and says, "Torches, you say?"
Well, yeah. I mean, that's your classic mob. You gotta have torches, right?
Well, it sounds like you're prepared anyway. Okay. Here's what I know. So I overheard some of the Red Brands talking one day when they were coming through town, causing hassle, and they were talking about their leader, and their leader they said was someone called Glassstaff. But that's all I heard about that. He also tells you that, have you heard that they sort of hang around the sleeping giant?
We have heard that.
That's where they like to hang around, sort of their post in town itself. But I have heard rumours that their main base of operations lies under Tresendar Manor, up on the hill.
That's good to know. We've heard rumors that they might have a secret entrance to it somewhere, but we haven't yet to find it.
I mean, I wouldn't know about that. I haven't heard about that. I wouldn't be surprised though. The woods around there hold all sorts of secrets and mysteries.
So this manor and this underground hideout, it doesn't happen to go by the name Cragmaw Castle, does it?
He looks at you for a second and seems to have a kind of blank look in his face, and he's like, that doesn't. I've never heard it called that. I've only ever heard it called Tresendar Manor.
So no information that might be about Cragmaw Castle.
It's not something I've ever heard of. I'm sorry.
Is there anyone around here that knows the lay of the land better?
That's a good question. And you can see him sort of thinking for a second, sort of trying to work out who might know. And he says, it might be worth asking at the miners' exchange. If you ask for Halia in the miners' exchange, she's a guild master, and she's probably the best person to ask anything like that. She's sort of the unofficial record of the village. So if anyone's going to know anything, it might be her.
And just to butt in, would Halia be familiar with the known locations or frequently seen areas of goblins in the vicinity?
I mean, you would have to ask her, but she is where all the miners from the area come to lodge their claims and to record their finds. So she will get a lot of general news. She'll hear lots of rumors. So she may well have heard something about goblins, but you would need to ask her.
Thank you for that, Darren. She sounds.
It sounds like she's the person that's going to know the Sword Mountains the best.
I would imagine so. Most people in town are just interested in trying to live their lives, do their jobs, eke out a living. Most of them don't have time for gossip and news of the wider world. But Halia might know something.
Well, that's actually a good amount of information. Well, you've helped us out. Is there anything we can do for you? One adventurer to another, of course.
That's a very kind offer. In fact, now that you mention it, there is. I am friends with a few of the prospectors who are working the hills outside Van Dillen, and a few of them have said that they've seen evidence that someone's digging around the ruins that are known as the Old Owl Well. And apparently some of them have even told me that they've been chased from the area by some sort of undead creatures. If you could investigate, I'd be very appreciative. I try to sort of look out for my fellow villagers as much as I can. It's an old habit from my war days. I know that somewhere around those ruins, it's an old watchtower, and it was a watchtower of a magical empire, and I'm worried that there might be dangerous magic there. So if you could investigate, that would be that would really help me out. I'm getting too old for adventuring myself. I'm firmly now retired and happy to stick to my apple trees.
How far away is this well?
Let's see, Old Owl Well from here, you're looking probably about a 2-day march.
In what direction? We happen to be heading towards Conberry? Connieberry?
Oh
A
yeah,
place on the
Coneyberry.
trail.
Coneyberry.
Yes, it's actually not too far from Coneyberry. A little bit further along, but if you were going to Coneyberry, you could then go on to Old Owl Well, and that would probably Coneyberry from here is maybe about a day. I think earlier I said half a day. That was my mistake. Coneyberry is probably about a day, and then Old Owl Well, maybe a day beyond that, give or take.
Thank you so very much. We should be traveling that way in the near future, so we will see if we can take care of that post haste.
Any information would be greatly appreciated.
Well, if undead are threatening the area, that is definitely a problem that everybody can agree on. Hopefully everyone in this group do, but I could be wrong.
Don't let the fur armor fool you. I am a paladin, and killing undead is fun.
Wait, you're a paladin?
Oh yes.
What god do you follow?
Well, the big tree daddy, Sylvanus.
The tree daddy. I love
Tree
it.
Daddy. Jesus H. Christ.
That needs to be the way you pray from now on.
Dear Tree Daddy.
Please, can I have branches as big and strong as you?
Whoa, now we got shackles for that kind of talk.
On that note, that's a lot of lore and side quests that have kind of been unearthed there. So I think that's probably a good point to stop. And what I'll do is I will get these all really clearly typed up and sort of demarcated so you know exactly who's offered what for which missions to go where and do what. Just so that we can kind of get it all straight for next time. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I'm just going to throw this out there, and y'all can agree, disagree, or we can kind of restructure from there. But just for Paul, my thoughts is that we probably shouldn't pick a fight with the red brands now. We should go to Coneyberry, deal with the Banshee, deal with the undead, and then look back and deal with the red brands. Does that sound like a good plan? Or should we go opposite, deal with the red brands, and then go out?
You can do it whichever way. I'll have it all prepped anyway, so don't worry about that. You can choose which way to do it. You can discuss it in the Discord if you want, or during the week. But either way works for me. It's what you think your characters would do.
Yeah, I just figured we would come up with kind of an order of operations to make it smoother for you.
Okay.
Doesn't have any clear direction. She's just happy to be here.
Part of the team. Oh, yeah.
Just loving life. So
No,
yeah,
Bill-
I
Bill's
mean,
in
if
two
you want,
minds about that. Yeah.
yeah, it's up to you how you want to do it. I'm easy either way.
So next session, Banshee, Undead, maybe talk to Carp about secret entrances. Deal with Red Brand.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'd be up for the most.
Okay. Cool. Is that that cool with you as well, Ochi? Awesome. Does anyone have anything else for tonight?
No, thank you so
No,
much
it
for
sounds
this
like
session.
Thank you very much.
times.
DM.
Okay, nice one. Yes, thank you all for being so engaged. Bit different from the last couple, much more role play rather than sort of combat. But we shall see what happens next time. And
It was a lot of fun watching you bring out different NPC personalities. That was good stuff.
yeah, until I managed to bugger up my my throat. I need to do some vocal exercises, I think.
You got to warm up with a little do re mi.
Yes, but I will do that off mic.
Aw.
I wouldn't want to subject any of you to my singing.
Well, this
I-
was
but-
great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes. We shall we pick it up next Saturday again then? Does that work for everyone?
I'm furloughed for now, so I have no problem with that.
I'm not furloughed, but I don't work on Saturdays, so I'm fine with that too.
Okay,
Yeah, works
cool.
for me.
Fantastic. Same bat time,
Yay.
same bat channel.
Sounds great.
Awesome. That was a lovely little addition there. Thank you so much, Steve.
Try my very best.
It was a great transition. I saw it in my head.
Bat symbol, neon circle behind. It's painting a picture with sound effects.
Also, Paul, would you like me to